As for the Carolina Panthers, I mean, Bryce Young, it's still ugly. Getting Deontay Johnson didn't seem to help very much. Getting Dave Canales didn't seem to help very much. I will say...
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Monster Monday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. Here's what we do on Mondays. I give you kind of my overarching themes of the Sunday that was in the NFL, kind of like macro thoughts. And then for each game, I'm not going to recap the game. You already know what happened in most of these games. I'm just going to tell you the things that I took away moving forward that really jumped out to me when I went over and went through the game. Of course, hopefully I don't forget to talk about my game, which was the Bills and the Cardinals and the press box food and everything. Very cool game, very fun game. I am Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. Now I've got a bunch of broadcasting gigs. This week, Thursday night, I'll be in the booth for the Dolphins and the Bills, Westwood One Radio. Then Saturday night, Colorado State, CBS primetime. So I got a double header. This week should be absolutely fantastic. Every week we pick out winners on the show. Those of you that either spread the word via social media, by engaging in any way with at Ross Tucker NFL, at Ross Tucker Pod, really commenting, right? So a reply or a quote post. And then the sponsor confirmation emails. So many awesome sponsors. In particular, I really hope if you guys have kids, you get one of these boxes from Future Fans so they understand football. And everyone should consider a bathroom remodel or a new door from West Shore Home. And then the YouTube shout-out's always fun. I like doing those videos on my phone and then emailing them to you. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, which is a great place to always watch the show. Shout-outs to Enrique Maldonado, Nathan Saucer, 2 of our most recent patrons. Patreon.com/RT Media. Join the family and chat with the crew on our private Slack channel. Actually, chat with me tonight. I'll be at Pizza Boy Brewing tonight. They're doing Ross Tucker trivia from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll hang out and watch some of the Niners-Jets game with you. If you come and I can tell that you're there for me, or if you came to see me, I guarantee I will say hello, shake your hand, take a picture, whatever you would like. It's Pizza Boy Brewing for any of you in Central PA on the West Shore of Harrisburg in Enola. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
All right, Ross, what were your overall themes from week 1 across the NFL?
Probably a lot, actually, Jack. I guess I would start with this. The new kickoff rule is kind of a mixed bag. After Thursday and Friday, I thought this is going to be very ineffectual. It's just going to be primarily touchbacks. This is a waste. The NFL is going to feel embarrassed that they put this much time into it, and yet they're all touchbacks. And then we got to my game, where the wind was a major factor in Buffalo. It usually is. And so as a result, we had a couple of long returns. We had a return for a touchdown. We had one time where the ball didn't get into the landing zone, so the ball came out to the 40. We had one time where the ball went out of bounds, so it came out to the 40. We had multiple times where the ball blew off the tee twice, which means for the first time in the history of the sport of football, 155 years, 12 men were allowed to legally be on the field. I was there. I was part of it. Check out the video at Ross Tucker Pod. No one can ever take that away from me for the rest of my life. I bared witness to history. So we'll see what happens. I do think that the later in the season and wind, I do think that that's a factor. Some injuries to watch at quarterback. Jordan Love sounds like a sprained MCL. That could be significant. He's out 2, 3, 4 weeks. That could be the difference between them making the playoffs or not, especially with who their backup quarterbacks are. Josh Allen, he landed hard on that left hand. I'll be curious to hear just how bad it is. And, they got to play Thursday night. So I don't know. I don't know if he can take snaps. That's an interesting one. And then there's certain teams. Jack, I'm watching the Rams last night. Holy crap, man. I mean, first of all, Darius Williams, their corner, can't play. And we knew Alaric Jackson, the left tackle, was out. But then Havenstein can't play. And then during the game, they lose Puka Nacua, their left guard, Stephen Avila, their left tackle in Joe Noteboom. I mean, I can't believe they even went to overtime in that game. Couple other notes. Dak got his contract done. The NFL's first $60 million man. We had our guy, Jason Fitzgerald from Over the Cap. He called that back in June. Nice job by you, Jack, on the repost at Ross Tucker Pod. But he called that in June. That's the Cowboy way. Wait as long as possible and then pay through the nose. I don't understand the thought process. Tyreek Hill got arrested before the game. That's concerning to me. And not the Tyreek Hill part. I mean, that's part one. But Calais Campbell came over to de-escalate the situation, and he got handcuffed. That's a concern. That really bothers me because Calais Campbell is like a measure, whatever. Anyway, rookie quarterback struggles. Probably the last one, Jack. Rookie quarterback struggles, and lots of them. I think, and even Marvin Harrison Jr. struggled in my game. I think we need to remember at times that they are still rookies, no matter how excited we might be to have some new players in the NFL. They're probably going to go through some growing pains. There should be no growing pains for you guys when it comes to what to drink. Smirnoff is the perfect vodka for crafting delicious cocktails that are easy to make and versatile for any and all fans over 21. It's the world's #1 vodka. They are an official vodka partner of the NFL. They've been around since 1864, 5 years before Princeton played Rutgers in the first football game ever. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer. Head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
All right, Ross, we're going to start with a game that feels like it was forever ago. The Eagles, they beat the Packers in Brazil, but like you mentioned, Jordan Love did leave late, 34-29 Eagles.
It definitely does feel like that was forever. It's unbelievable, isn't it, having a game on Friday? The things that jumped out to me, I guess, about the game, Saquon Barkley for the Eagles. He looked like he did at Penn State. He looked like he did as a rookie. I mean, he has some serious explosiveness. I don't know why he didn't veer to the right on that one run. That would have easily been a touchdown when he broke it into the open. But holy cow, Saquon has some juice. And with that offensive line, he might break several big ones this year. It's going to be fun to watch. The other thoughts, I guess, on the Eagles side, their linebackers look good. Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond, really good. And I thought Jalen Hurts had some really poor decisions. How often are you going to have 2 turnovers inside your own red zone and then another throw interception into the end zone and you still win the game? That's not going to happen very often. For the Packers, I thought it was a little disappointing. Other than Jaden Reed, who was phenomenal for the Packers, I thought Jordan Love did not perform very well, certainly not as well as the Packers needed him to. Josh Jacobs looked good, which I think is a good takeaway moving forward. But the defense under Hafley still has a lot to be desired.
No touchdowns, no problems for Justin Fields of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They win, beating the Falcons 18-10.
I swear every Steelers game is the same, and it's just uncanny, absolutely uncanny, the way Mike Tomlin coaches this team and the way they play these games. Their defense played all. I mean, TJ Watt, just so you know, these teams spend all week discussing how to not let TJ Watt wreck the game. And then TJ Watt wrecks the game. Part of that is because having like Highsmith or, having a good player on the other side makes a really big difference. But I was disappointed in the Falcons' offensive line. I have them as a top 5 offensive line. They were not good enough. And neither was Kirk Cousins. I would say very disappointing debut for Kirk Cousins and the Falcons offensively. For Fields, we'll see. Maybe we'll talk to Greg Cosell on Thursday about it. Just seemed like more of the same, right? He ran well, had a couple of good throws, but it just felt like the same old when it relates to Justin Fields and consistency as a passer.
A game that you were able to check out yesterday, Buffalo, they stormed back to beat the Arizona Cardinals at home, 34-28.
That was an awesome game. I thought it was one of the games of the day going into the day, and then it proved to be one of the games of the day afterwards. I posted on social media at Ross Tucker NFL the press box spread. Unfortunately, Jack, I was not able to go back to the press box. So the Bills are one of those areas where there's the press box is one place and the broadcast booths are a different place, like where the coaches are. And so I wasn't able to go back over there. I did have some salmon or some lox and cream cheese on a bagel before the game and some fruit, which was nice. Halftime, they put out wings and soft pretzels and stuff. They had like one of the best burgers I've ever had. That was legit. I don't know where that came from, but I will be trying to get that moving forward. That was awesome. As for the game, fantastic game. Cardinals played awesome early. They go up 17-3. Josh Allen has a turnover. The Cardinals are controlling the action, but then the Bills did the double tap, right? Touchdown at the end of the first half. Touchdown to start the third quarter. Game is tied. Cardinals still had their chance. They had the kickoff return for a touchdown. Did not care, and I think he's a really good coach, did not care for some of the play calls by Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing late in the game. Did not think they put the Cardinals in the best position. And ultimately the Bills got it done. Just a fun opener in Buffalo.
Caleb Williams, he became the first rookie quarterback drafted first overall to win their season opener since David Carr in 2002, beating the Titans 24-17.
That's a wild stat, and it's also wild that they did it coming back from down 17-0 with Caleb Williams playing really poorly. But this is the same old Bears, right? They find a way to get a pick six on a horrific decision by Will Levis. You just can't do that if you're Will Levis. That cannot happen. That was the biggest play of the game. That and the blocked punt that Jonathan Owens returned for a touchdown. Levis was up and down. He made some good throws to Ridley, I thought. And, Tony Pollard had the nice touchdown run. But ultimately, the difference in the game was the turnovers, the Bears defense, the Bears special teams, and Will Levis with that critical error. It kills you.
The Patriots, they stunned the Cincinnati Bengals, who even had Jamar Chase, 16-10.
Wow. So much for Fezzik on the Even Money podcast saying he thinks that the Patriots might go winless. Keon White, the young DN for the Patriots, he was everywhere. Everywhere. 2.5 sacks. I don't know what the deal was with the Bengals under Zach Taylor, but they have never been good in these opening games. The series where Gesicki didn't catch it, and then Tanner Hudson got the ball punched out to 1, that's when you knew it wasn't their day. But this is the Patriots formula, right? This is the way it has to be. Run with Ramondre Stevenson, play good D, keep the other team on the sidelines, the other offense, and find a way to win the game. That is exactly what they did. By the way, our guys that listen to the show and came on, they're big Bengals fans. So I'm bummed for the two owners of futurefans.com, but I'm not that bummed because we've gotten a bunch of emails from you guys that you're ordering this, which you should, right? The NFL season started now. If you know anyone that has children between like ages 3 to 10, they say 4 to 8. I say 3 to 10. Get them one of these boxes from futurefans.com. The way they teach young kids how to learn football, it's genius. And you'll get them sitting next to you on the couch for the rest of the season. You know how invaluable that is? Go to futurefans.com to learn more. Use code Ross. Unlock a lifetime of memories with a kid in your life starting now. The beauty of that is that then they'll want to sit next to you while you're drinking your Labatt Blue Lights with friends and sometimes, in that case, family. Living life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Thank you, by the way, to everybody that came out to the watch party on Thursday.
In the AFC South battle, Anthony Richardson, he looked really good in his return, but Houston's offense was just too much for the Colts in a 29-27 Texans win.
I don't know that I would say he looked really good. I would say he made, no joke, one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life. That was, if you haven't seen it yet, guys and gals, when I say guys, I mean any gender, any whatever. You really need to see this throw by Anthony Richardson. He's like slipping, and off his back foot, he throws the ball like 70 yards in the air, absolutely perfectly in stride. There are not many guys, like maybe Joe Milton and Josh Allen. There are not many guys that can do what Anthony Richardson did. That was awesome. He's running guys over for a touchdown. But this is going to be the Anthony Richardson experience, right? Because he also had some negative plays as well. You know, he's still a young player who's learning. As for the Texans, I was not expecting them to ride Joe Mixon like that. 160 yards, 30 carries for Joe Mixon. They did get the ball to Stephon Diggs for a couple of touchdowns, which we kept showing during the Bills-Cardinals game. So that was another really good, entertaining game.
Miami, they started the season with a last-second field goal, beating the Jaguars 2017.
Very much looking forward to Thursday night. Dolphins, Bills, that's a big game on a Thursday night for the complexion of the AFC East. Well, first, we talked about it earlier, but Tyreek Hill got arrested before the game and handcuffed. It's got to be pretty bad to handcuff. Thankfully, I think the police department down there has said they'll have full transparency and that the officers have body cams, so we'll all be able to hear whatever it is that Tyreek Hill said to get handcuffed, down on the ground like that. But then for Calais Campbell to get handcuffed as well, I mean, wow. I think there's going to be a lot that comes out there, or at least people want to get to the bottom of exactly what happened. And then, of course, he has an 80-yard touchdown catch, and he does the hands behind his back touchdown celebration. Just, of course. The Jags got to be sitting there like, he's definitely going to score a touchdown on us, and he's definitely going to do some type of celebration involving that. The play of the game was the ETN fumble, right? Javon Holland punched it out. Jags are up 17-7. They're feeling good about themselves. They're about to go in again, and ETN's near the goal line, and Javon Holland punches it out. They go up 24-7. That game is over. Instead, the ball comes out. It was basically a 14-point swing because like 2 plays later, Tyreek Hill goes 80 yards, and the Dolphins are right back in it. I did think Brian Thomas Jr., speaking of young guys, if you remember Sean King on the show, loved him. I thought Brian Thomas Jr. did some really good things for the Jaguars, the rookie receiver. And then how about A-Chain? The running back for the Dolphins had 7 catches, 76 receiving yards. They said they were going to use him as a receiver. They weren't kidding.
Saints, they make a statement to start the year, a 47-10 blowout of the Carolina Panthers.
So did the Panthers, Jack. So did the Panthers. Well, certainly the Saints offense looks a lot better under Clint Kubiak. 47 points? 47 points. Seems like the Panthers could have used Brian Burns in this one. They ran it effectively. Carr was thrown it to Rashid Shaheed. As for the Carolina Panthers, I mean, Bryce Young, it's still ugly. Getting Deontay Johnson didn't seem to help very much. Getting Dave Canales didn't seem to help very much. I will say, shout out to Chase Young, who looked healthy. And how about Alante Taylor, the corner for the Saints, getting 3 sacks? Something's wrong if you're letting a corner get 3 sacks in a game.
The Vikings, they make easy work of the Giants with a 28-6 road win.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the bad teams are still bad, huh? I mean, the bad teams and the bad quarterbacks are still bad. Sam Darnold was fantastic. Maybe he will. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Sam Darnold will play well this year, and maybe that's truly a feather in the cap of Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings coaching staff because he played very well yesterday. And for the Giants, it's just kind of more of the same, right? Offensive line, not good enough. Daniel Jones under duress. Daniel Jones throwing bad interceptions. One was a pick six. Shout out, by the way, to Aaron Jones. That was a nice signing by the Vikings. He looked good.
Chargers, they lean on the run game, get their first win in the Harbaugh era, a 22-10 victory against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Go, Chargers, go. So, this is what Jim Harbaugh is all about. I mean, this was like a Jim Harbaugh game. They don't have great receivers, do the Chargers. They need to run the ball. They weren't able to do it very effectively in the first half. But guess what? They just keep doing it. They just keep grinding. Next thing you know, J.K. Dobbins is ripping off big runs. I thought Joe Alt did a terrific job against Max Crosby. That was very impressive. And my former teammate Antonio Pierce, I understand why he didn't go for it because they had gotten stuffed earlier. I get it. But boy, the analytics certainly say Antonio Pierce should have gone for it in that situation.
Bo Nix, he threw 2 interceptions in his NFL debut with the Broncos losing to the Seahawks 26-20.
This game, I guess, was about what I thought it would be, to be honest with you. The Seahawks offensive line is still a concern. I mean, they gave up 2 safeties in the game. 2 safety. That's hard to do. How many, get that stat, Jack. How many times have there been 2 safeties by one team in a game? Thankfully for them, Geno had that long touchdown run, which they absolutely needed. He looked better in the second half. And I thought Bo Nix, kind of up and down, right? He's accurate underneath, getting the ball out. He ran the ball pretty well when he needed to. It's driving the ball down the field and the confidence to drive it down the field that's going to be really the thing to watch for Bo Nix.
Newly paid Dak Prescott, he leads the Cowboys to a dominant win over the Cleveland Browns, 33-17.
Was not expecting that. I really wasn't. I mean, the Dallas defense was fantastic, led, of course, by Micah Parsons, who was just unbelievable. In fact, I'm going to make Micah Parsons the hungriest performance of the week. It's presented by 11 Oak Farms, genuine Wagyu beef, Angus beef, heritage breed pork, and free-range chicken, all locally raised and available nationwide online. Even better, family-owned business here in Central PA, where Micah Parsons is from. Visit 11oaksfarms.com. I thought TJ Watt was great in the 1 o'clock games. Micah Parsons said, "It's my time. I want to be the defensive player of the year this year." He was everywhere. And you know he's coming, and you still can't stop him. Just the way he moves. There are not many defensive players I can remember, even in my lifetime, that can move the way Micah Parsons moves. As for the Cowboys offense, it was enough, right? I mean, I don't know that they lit him up, but it was enough, especially when Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland offense was struggling as much as they were.
Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, they dominate against the Commanders' defense, 37-20.
Baker did not miss Dave Canales very much. Baker looked awesome in that game. I don't know how Mike Evans keeps doing it, by the way. Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, I would say up and down. Probably ran it better than he threw it, which is sort of what we were expecting from him. And then probably the game of the day, Jack, was the Lions' overtime win over the Rams, 26-20. What a comeback by the Rams. I mean, everybody's hurt for the Rams, And Stafford just said, I'm going to throw the ball to Cooper Kupp every play to get the Rams the lead. Ultimately, it felt like the Rams defense wore down. That overtime drive by the Lions, running the ball right down the Rams' throat, was extremely impressive. Jamison Williams had a big day as well. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out Pizza Boy Brewing. I'll be there tonight. Hopefully you guys will as well. Anybody in Central PA, 6 to 8 p.m., Pizza Boy Brewing. You, me, beer, pizza, happy tonight. Sporticulture, humanheadnyc.com, backofficeschedule.com, and the best gift you could ever give anybody in your life, myfrontpagestory.com.